Hello again, everyone, and welcome to Oklahoma Sportscene, presented by Jimmy's Egg with Coach Gil Cloud, the Hall of Famer here. I'm Chris Lincoln, and we're missing one of our compadres, JB Haney, out again this week.
JB, this is Monday when we're taping, had a new hip put in this morning, and the word from LIII, our good friend from EOC in Advanced Orthopedics, says he's doing well and tolerating the pain, and I imagine he'll be back here in a couple of weeks.
Look forward to that, and then we're going to lose you in another week, right, Coach?
I got a new knee next Monday, a week from Monday, and they tell me 6 to 8. I'm thinking 3 to 4.
You'll be fine.
I'll be back.
He'll bounce back in a hurry here. Got a great lineup for you. Of course, the big topic, obviously, Coach, Super Bowl 53. We'll be wrapping that up for you. Henry Primeaux is here with some Super Bowl memorabilia for you, and he's still trying to recover. He's a New Orleans Saints fan.
Henry has told us that I'm anxious to see if he actually watched the game or not, because he said he wasn't going to watch it since his Saints got screwed.
Then we have the entire, it's like a Warren family reunion, talking about their great thoroughbred City of Light, who won the richest prize in American thoroughbred racing, $4 million, the Pegasus World Cup. And the Warren family is going to be here to talk about that. We'll show you highlights of that incredible race. Oilers hockey, boy, they have been on the road and had a tough schedule, haven't they, Coach?
The road trip in minor league hockey is tough because there are no airplanes. It's all buses, and they've off a 13-hour trip back from Cincinnati, and that's a great place to be from. I played hockey in Cincinnati back.
Is that right?
I used to play hockey.
Right, sure, that's right.
Old hockey guy, old-time hockey. We used to fight every time.
Coach Rob Murray, their head coach, is here. Also, their outstanding all-star forward, who's setting all kinds of records in scoring this year. Adam Pleskach from Winnipeg, Manitoba, or a small town near there. We'll hear about that later on. And we'll also have the announcement of our Oklahoma Prep Player and Coach of the Month. Barry Lewis, the Tulsa Roll, will fill us in on that.
Barry Lewis has picked 2 outstanding individuals, and I think everybody will be excited to hear about them.
We have, of course, on our hot topics, and the Super Bowl is one of them, but we're going to be talking about that in the next segment. So, Coach, we can just kind of glance over the Super Bowl real quick and talk about one of the big stories in Oklahoma, Lincoln Riley's salary and his nice raise for he and his staff.
It almost has gotten to the point where you say, really? What? $32.5 million.
5 years, $32.5 million, $6 million this year, and if he's here for 2021, he gets $7.3 million.
And of course, we've got a new defensive coordinator.
That's right. He gets $1.4 million.
The highest paid assistant coach at the University of Oklahoma ever.
You got to appreciate this, coach and long-time career and stuff, that they really work hard at the University of Oklahoma, and Lincoln Riley really pushed for it, not just the race for himself, but his assistants too.
I think that's the key thing, because the assistants do a great deal of the work.
Oh yeah.
I mean, they're doing the recruiting. They're out there making the first visit in home, doing the evaluation, and in college football, recruiting is everything. I mean, you don't have to be a very good coach to be able to win if you get the right players.
You ever think you'd seen your day an offensive line coach make $750,000? Bill Badenbaugh, and certainly well earned. He's probably considered the best offensive line coach in college football.
When I was at K-State, 1972. They used to split salaries.
Right.
We would split salaries, and there were 4 of us that were splitting $16,000. We made $8,000 apiece. There were 4 jobs at $16,000. We made $8,000 apiece. Now we got a car and a credit card, and you were gone 23 or 24 hours a day. But it was a heck of a deal, and you're big 8, whatever.
Oh,
but
sure.
I'm glad for the assistant coaches. I think it's really important that because it's important to the state.
Yeah.
Athletics in Oklahoma is a given, and I think it makes everything else work a lot better anyway. And so we've got to pay them. I just wonder about where the end is going to be.
Well, the TD pulls the plug.
Whenever TV pulls the plug, it'll be all over. I mean, we talked the other day.
Sure.
The Big 12. Their portion of TV revenue was $26 million per school.
Per school.
12. That's $260 million in TV they had for the Big 12. If you don't think that they can tell you when you play, if they say you're playing at 3 o'clock in the morning, you better get up and get ready to play, because it's going to be on TV and you'll get your check.
Mike Stoops has got a job at the University of Alabama. Nick Saban's adding him as, what is an analyst?
I'll tell you what, Alabama was the first one to do this. They came out with hiring former head coaches who had gotten fired,
right?
And they put them on their staff. And now every position coach has an analyst coach that works with him where he doesn't have to look at that film to evaluate those players. He doesn't have to go out on the road the first time to evaluate them playing. The analyst is taking care of that and then recommends to the position coach, this is the guy you need to recruit.
We come back, Super Bowl 53. We'll break it down for you and analyze why it was going to be a great, big, high-scoring game. I don't know what happened. Back after this.
Welcome to Jimmy's Egg. Come on in.
For more than 30 years, Jimmy's Egg has been starting people's day off right with hot, fresh, made-to-order food. Our eggs are fresh, cracked to order every time, and there are over 40,000 ways to craft your own omelet. With signature favorites like our meat lovers skillet or decadent cinnamon roll pancakes, you won't leave hungry. Breakfast and lunch is available every day from 6 a.m. to 2 p.m., so stop in today and let our friendly staff serve you.
Stop by and see us sometime.
Oklahoma Sportscene wants to welcome our newest title sponsor, S&B Burger Joints, the home of fresh-made gourmet burgers and sliders, great sides, hand-dipped milkshakes, root beer and soda floats, and delicious homemade pies. All served with a fun and friendly staff, and we feature a full-service bar with over 65 beers and our unique Bloody Marys. S&B Burger Joint in the Oklahoma City area and coming soon to Tulsa.
Robertson Tire has been locally owned and serving Tulsa for the past 50 years, but we're much more than a tire shop. We handle alignments, oil changes, brakes, and much more. For all our services, coupons, and location information, visit us online at robertsontire.com.
Welcome back to Oklahoma Sports Scene, brought to you by Jimmy's Egg. And now we're going to talk about that high-scoring Super Bowl.
What happened?
I think the defensive coordinators did the best job of anybody.
2 weeks to get ready.
Yeah, 2 weeks to get ready. They analyzed the film. I knew that Wade Phillips would.
Yeah.
You know, the question was, could Los Angeles do the same thing? They had a more formidable task. And I think the other thing, Chris, that I really looked at when you looked at the game, you've got Brady,
Yeah.
you know, who's playing in his ninth Super Bowl.
Yeah.
He's 18 years ago. He played in the first one. And you got Goff. And you're thinking Goff is 24, 25 years old. They said at one point that when Brady played in the first Super Bowl, Goff was in kindergarten. But when the guy comes to the line of scrimmage and he checks off, would you rather have Goff checking off or Brady? Because Brady has broken down every single play of every single game that the Los Angeles Rams played this last year, and he knows what their tendencies are. And I think that was the biggest difference. He could handle the adjustments that they were making on defense. Ultimately, you know, from a coach's standpoint, I thought it was a pretty good game. You know, fans they like the 40s and 50s and 60s, right. But I think if you look technically, the technical aspect of the blocking schemes and the stunts on defense and the things they did in the secondary to disguise, you know, they were talking about man on man, and one thing I did agree with Romo and Nance is, why in the world they think that they could single play Edelman?
Oh,
I mean, he is one of the most prolific one-on-one players there is in the National Football.
I think they made an adjustment in the second half and never did with it still. Well, the final score, everybody doesn't know, of course, was the New England Patriots 13, Los Angeles high-scoring Rams 3. The two highest-scoring offenses in the NFL, 8.5 hours of pregame on the NFL Network. All the experts, all the analysts came up with it's going to be guaranteed a high-scoring, wild shootout game. Who has the ball last ends up the lowest-scoring Super Bowl in history, and the first Super Bowl ever to go into the fourth quarter without a touchdown having been scored.
Without a touchdown. And of course, you know, when you saw the way they were playing, you know, I thought, well, maybe here's a sign when New England missed that first field goal.
Yeah.
You think, well, maybe they're not going to win. You know, maybe that's going to be the. But you just have to stay with Brady because he's going to do the deal,
And Brady, the first NFL player to win 6 Super Bowls, did it at the age of 41. The deciding drive, he was at his best. 4 for 4. What a great touch pass to Gronkowski down to the 2-yard line, and the Georgia kid took it in from there for the only touchdown of the game. That was, in fact, also the only time in the entire football game either team was in the red zone.
Boy, no, and that's what I told my wife at one point watching the game. I said, have they been across the 50-yard line yet? Because they hadn't.
Yeah.
When they put the graphic up at halftime, they had not been across. Los Angeles had not been across the 50-yard line.
Super Bowl MVP. It went to a New England wide receiver, Julian Edelman, who was incredible. 10 catches, 141 yards. I kind of agree with you, Gil. The MVP probably shouldn't have gone to a player. guy going to Disney World should have been one of the coaches probably. My gosh.
Well, the way they shut it down, I think it was
Yeah,
unbelievable.
geez.
And Edelman had a day. I mean, he had it at one point. They thought that he was going to set a record because he had made so many catches. But you look to next year. Now the Rams are really young,
Right.
so you got to think they're going to be back. And save an interference call, maybe the Saints will be back. And we know how Mahomes is, the most valuable player.
Right.
So I think they had the Final Four were the right Final Four. And I'm not saying that was the best two teams that got to the finals, but the best four teams did get to the finals. And that's going to be interesting to see how that plays out next year.
By the way, the 2019, of course, NFL Power Rankings already out. Favored to win the Super Bowl next year, the Los Angeles Rams. Second choice, Kansas City Chiefs, followed by the New Orleans Saints, and go Henry Primeaux. Fourth, the New England Patriots. LA Chargers fifth. The Steelers 11th. The Eagles 12th. The Cowboys 13th. And how about this, Coach? The Cleveland Browns picked 15th right now after their 7-8-1 season under Baker Mayfield.
It doesn't surprise me. I tell you, Baker's a winner.
Yeah.
And, I bet they win 9 games next year. I'd take 9 and without even doubt, because they got there almost this year.
Yeah.
They lost a couple they should have won at the end, and they'll be I think formidable.
Under our big money, I've got a horse race of big money for you. $9 million race to recap for you with the Warren family. I'll be in the studio to talk about their great thoroughbred City of Light. That's coming up next on Oklahoma Sportscene.
At Bricktown Brewery, we're known for our famous original craft beers like Single String Stout and Bluesberry Ale. Did you know we also brew our own root beer at our Oklahoma City brewhouse? It's called Attaboy Root Beer, and you'll love it no matter what your age. Just ask for a Bricktown Kids menu with all the favorites for our guests 12 and under. Bricktown Brewery opens every day at 11 a.m.
Robertson Tire has been your local tire expert since 1962. Now at RobertsonTire.com, it's easier than ever to get a customized quote. And with our price match guarantee, you can be sure that you're getting the best price. For more information, visit RobertsonTire.com.
Back on Oklahoma Sportscene, honored to have a Warren family reunion. This is W.K. Warren, famed Tulsa, the Oklahoma Hall of Famer. He is the chairman of the board of trustees of St. Francis Health System. His lovely wife, Suzanne, is next to him with their famed racing colors. We'll be talking about that pretty soon here. The outside here is John Kelly. He is John Kelly Warren. He is the chairman of William K. Warren Foundation. And then Andrew Warren, the youngest of the set here. He's the president of Warren American Oil Company. But what they really all are is owners and proud owners of one of the great race horses of this year and the year, City of Light. We showed you his race last show when he won the Pegasus World Cup. And we have the headline to prove it here. Look at this, City of Light glistens. And the rain there at Gulfstream, and what an amazing race that was. Mr. Warren, congratulations again. Fabulous racehorse. Tell us about that day, a rainy, sloppy day at Gulfstream Park in Florida.
Wonderful opportunity to be in the Pegasus, and we were hoping for a dry track. Friday turned out to be a great day for racing, but Saturday it poured rain, and we had never run in the mud before. And our principal opponent was Accelerate, who had I think had 5 wins, but
Breeders' Cup Classic winner the year before.
Yes, he was, and he had won one time in the mud and come in second one time in the mud, and there were 4 other horses out of the 12 who had experience running in the mud. So it was a question mark for us as to how we would do.
Suzanne, for you, I watched the telecast on NBC. Beck and I both watched, and she was saying, poor Mrs. Warren's getting soaked.
We were, and we didn't mind it a bit. When you're winning, everything's fine. We were happy to have that
And I love the fact
experience.
your racing colors, which you show right there, is that fabulous color just really popped out of the dark day there.
That's why we have those colors. They're easy to follow, and Bill picked them way long ago, and they've turned out to be very lucky.
I love the fact, Andrew, you had actually the headline and wrote it for the Blood Horse, the famed magazine, of course, that the Bible of the thoroughbred industry. City of Light, of course, galloping to victory there in the Pegasus. As you pointed out there, you said City of Light takes flight. He certainly did, didn't he?
Absolutely. It was spectacular. We were, I think, shocked and just ecstatic that it went that well. So,
well, John Kelly, tell me your involvement in this side of the business with the horse racing, and just as a fan or enjoying it, or how close are you involved with your dad in this?
Well, it started when I was a young, I guess, teenager at the time, and my dad took us to the track at Del Mar and taught me how to handicap, and it's been a giant puzzle piece to figure out how to handicap the horses, and then it evolved into trips to Keeneland to look at horses during sales to what is now ownership today.
That's right. Bill, talk about your time in racing, because I remember we had a great time covering you, and my gosh, I go back to Kentucky Derby with Dennis O'Court.
Yes.
Finished third in the Kentucky Derby. What year was that? That was 2008. And then, of course, your great horse, the Breeders' Cup Classic winner, Horse of the Year 2005, St. Liam, right?
That's correct, yes.
And I know St. Liam, of course, there's also a little building named after him in the campus of Notre Dame, your alma mater, too, right?
Yes, that's right. St. Liam was really named after my father. You take the last four letters of his name, LIIM, and my father meant so much to me that I named this horse St. Liam, and he was just really a fantastic horse, very easy to be around, and handled himself beautifully, personality-wise. What interested me about St. Liam is whenever he'd go for a workout on the track, he would pull up before he'd start and watch all the other horses go around the track. You could just see his mind saying, I can beat you. And I loved the fact that he was taking their measure, and when it came time to race, he was just sensational.
Well, you've had, as anybody has in this industry, the ups and downs and the highs and lows, the heartbreak, and I so clearly remember St. Liam, all his triumphs, but then a tragedy at Lane's Inn Farm that cost him his life there, and a freak accident on the farm there that really put you out of racing for a while, right?
It did, yes. Actually, these horses that are stallions like to race. They never quit racing. They like to go down to the paddock and race other horses up and down the paddock. And it had rained that day, and the groom was taking him from the stallion barn down to his paddock, and I guess he saw the horse he wanted to race that day, and he raised up on his hind end, and he'd taken him through a pool of water, and when he raised up on his hind end, he slipped and broke his femur in 20 places. Well, very sad day.
Yeah, but boy, what a way to come back with a great horse like the City of Light. And I guess the name seems obvious, right?
Yes.
For Paris?
Yeah, absolutely. Suzanne and I like Paris very much, and the mother of the horse was named Paris Notion.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And at the time that Suzanne and I were thinking about a name for the horse, a jockey was riding for us on the West Coast called Flavien Prat, and Flavien is from France.
Yeah.
So the two sort of connected as to making sense for us.
I have a picture we're going to show you now in a moment here with the family gathered to have a goodbye to City of Light, because the next morning he was on his way to his second career, right?
Yes, he is. He started that on Sunday morning, vanned up there with
Lane's Inn Farm in Versailles, Kentucky.
Yes.
Yeah. Great stallion
with
farm.
Accelerate of all things.
Well, that's right. Both of them in the same van.
They were
right?
on the same van,
Lanes.
yeah.
After City Light beat him pretty good there.
They told us, I have to tell you this, that
yeah.
Accelerated arrived more tired than City of Light.
Not surprising. How about your favorite race horse? Any favorites in your family's long history of racing? John Kelly, how about you?
I think it started with first horse that did really well, named W.D. Jacks,
Right.
where Dad took the initials of all his kids' names and made it into a name. I was the J and K, and Andrew was the A, and Sister Carolyn, and but that was a really great introduction to the business, and with a lot of fun watching him finish first in the Breeders' Cup, I think.
Andrew, what's attracted you most to this sport of thoroughbred racing?
I've just loved being with my family, and we've had so much fun traveling to all these destinations. We've been to, Arkansas. We've been to California, Del Mar, Santa Anita. Been to now Gulfstream. We've been to Belmont plenty times. Churchill Downs. Being having the opportunity to travel and have these great fun times with family, and everybody is excited for the opportunity. And then just kind of being involved in incredible opportunities that happen from horse racing, and seeing so much success in the sport. It's just incredible.
Well,
let
boy,
me say
yeah,
that of course John Kelly and Andrew are both married and go with their businesses each day, but racing City of Light has brought our family closer together, where we are all owners of this horse.
That's great.
And it's been very special to my heart to see the excitement of my sons, and it just means so much to me. I think coming down the stretch, John Kelly was shaking me so much I thought I might have a heart attack. And Andrew jumped up on a table and broke the table. We've had a lot of fun as a family.
Well, there's a lot of aspects to racing with the family. It starts with naming them, and we get a typed list, and then we are asked to rank them at dinner when we get together often enough. And the names come and go, and your favorites you mark, but then they disappear, and suddenly we're all agreeing on something. So, and Andrew's our analyzer. He goes into the statistics. And, and
the bloodlines and all that and stuff.
Yeah, Bill uses him for that, and he and John Kelly, of course, are up to speed on numbers and.
But we will say that whatever names we all agree on, he has the ultimate veto power.
Well, City of Light has made his own name. Let's take one more look again at that incredible $9 million race, the Pegasus, as we see those bright pink colors coming around the turn there. And City of Light heading to the wire. Take a look at this. And then you also listen to Mr. Warren in the winner's circle. He did Tulsa proud. Listen to this.
And something awesome, and here's the matchup. Accelerate on the outside, City of Light toward the rail. Castellano and City of Light have the lead, and they cut the corner and open up. City of Light puts away Accelerate with 1/8 of a mile to go. At the inside and Seeking the Soul, then Bravazzo. But City of Light keeps going, and City of Light will win it. It's City of Light for Javier Castellano, and a romp in the rain. He won by 5. Second is Seeking the Soul. Third
I want to
is
thank the
Accelerate.
Stronics so much for their vision and courage to put together this race with their investors or whatever it took to do it. And it's really a great thing for racing. So I'll tell you what, on behalf of the great city of Paris, France, and the great city of Tulsa, Oklahoma, where I'm from, and the great University of Notre Dame, where I graduated from, and the great U.S. Navy as a veteran, I'm thrilled and honored to win this race.
Wow, what a racehorse, what a finish, and what a winner's circle interview. Mr. Moore, you thanked everybody there. It was great.
Well, I have a lot of people to be thankful for, close friends and associates, and so I wanted to make sure I included everybody when I had an opportunity to do so.
So what's on the horizon? Because I know the thing that keeps every thoroughbred owner young is usually a yearling or a 2-year-old, and your trainer says, this one's the next great one. What do you have coming up?
Well, we have 4 that we're very excited about, and we will be having Michael McCarthy train them at Santa Anita, and we're just excited about them. One of them's a quality road, like City of Light is. One of them's an Uncle Mo. One of them's a Cairo Prince out of American Pharaoh, and I can't remember what the 4th one is, but at any rate, we're very excited about these new 4 that are coming up.
Well, we're very proud to have Mr. Warren here. Of course, he's done so much for the city of Tulsa, for the state of Oklahoma. It's the reason he's in the Oklahoma Hall of Fame, inducted in 2003. And I was so excited that she too, and Suzanne also in the Hall of Fame. They say thank you, Suzanne.
And I don't think there are any other
couples,
parents and couples, Bill's mother, father, Bill, than me.
Wow.
I don't know of anybody else.
Oklahoma Hall of Fame. And then I was so impressed, too, as a contributor in 2016, I believe it was, inducted into the Oklahoma Golf Hall of Fame.
Yes, very excited about that.
But your dad really
being a member of Augusta National, that meant a great deal to me as well.
And of course, your late father was really impetus to really start Southern Hills, right?
Yes, he was a founder of Southern Hills. Yes.
And of course, we've hosted I think 6 major championships, and more on the horizon for Southern Hills.
Yes, more on the horizon. They've got people at the club that are now working. John Kelly's on a committee to bring USGA tournaments to Southern Hills.
And John, aren't they about to shut down the course for a while and do some work on it?
Be open this summer.
Open again this summer? Okay.
Yes.
Very good. We'll look forward to that and stuff. But just an amazing story here. We can't thank you for all you've done for racing for the city of Tulsa, for the state of Oklahoma, and for your proud Notre Dame Fighting Irish. Pretty good season for you.
Excellent season, except for the semifinal game.
Yeah, Oklahoma feels your pain with that, too. They went into Clemson. We went, of course, to Alabama. Well, City of Light, again, made us all proud here and put Tulsa on the map again, as the Warrens always do, and we couldn't thank them enough for gathering here today to share some of that with us, and hope you enjoyed it, too. Bill, thanks so much for being part of this. President Suzanne, congratulations, the First Lady there. You, Andrew, thank you,
Chris.
Don, thank you, buddy. Always a good time. A lot of fun with you guys. The Warren family, a big family reunion here, talking about City of Light, the great thoroughbred racehorse. Back with more of our Oklahoma Sports Scene right after this.
Every minute, every day, and every night, there's someone who needs us. Every week and every year, we bring something new to the way we care for individuals and our communities. Every thought and every action is spent improving the way we imagine health and wellness. Because every child, every woman, and every man deserves the best possible life. St. Francis Health System. Healthcare for life.
At Bricktown Brewery, we're known for our famous original craft beers like Single String Stout and Bluesberry Ale. Did you know we also brew our own root beer at our Oklahoma City brewhouse? It's called Attaboy Root Beer, and you'll love it no matter what your age. Just ask for a Bricktown Kids menu with all the favorites for our guests 12 and under. Bricktown Brewery opens every day at 11 a.m.
It's hockey time now at Oklahoma Sports Scene, presented by Jimmy Zay. Great to have with us again the head coach of the Tulsa Oilers, Rob Murray. Coach, thanks for joining us here. And their all-star forward of the Oilers, and also making all kinds of records here in their scoring. This is Adam Pleskach from Winnipeg, Manitoba. Adam, congratulations on the records here so far. But first, guys, we think we have to introduce them again, Coach, because nobody in Tulsa has seen them for a while. They've been on the road forever. They played 14 of 19 games on the road. Just 10 home games left, by the way, at the BOK. They're coming off a stretch of 8 games in 11 days. They had 5 home games in 6 days. Then left on that 13-hour bus ride to Toledo. Back-to-back, played Toledo, Cincinnati, and then bus back 11 hours to Tulsa on Sunday morning and leave Tuesday for Kansas City. Coach, wow.
Well, that's the ECHL for you. I mean, we don't have our closest games are Wichita, Allen, and Kansas City. So even those games are only day trips. But once you get past that, you're going to be on the road for a while, and those long bus trips are. Usually we deadhead through the night, and that's what we did going to Toledo and then coming back from Cincinnati.
Adam, this past Friday you had the hat trick, which now for 156 goals, away 302 points on the season. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Talk about what made you such a great prolific scorer for this hockey team.
Well, I think it's more of a sign that I've just been here for a number of years that I have that many goals, but I think this year's a little bit special. It's a pretty special group of guys. I've been able to play with some pretty good players to help me get to where I'm at. 22
goals this season, I believe, and the record he broke, there was a guy that Oilers fans love, this guy, Dougie Lawrence, his record.
Yeah, well, I mean, like Plesh says, longevity helps when he's been around for so long and with the Tulsa Oilers, but it's a tribute to him is the fact that he's able to keep putting up these points. It's my second year with him. And I don't see how he can't play for many years to come, especially the way he's the point totals, and I mean he's valuable to the team.
Yeah, got 10 home games left, and that's really, really important after you've been on the road so much. But what kind of toll does it take on your players to be on the road like that?
Well, it was the road trips are what they are, but usually we get to a town and we play a couple games. Like a couple weeks ago, we went up to Rapid City, played 2 games there. After the Rapid City game, we bussed over to Salt Lake, played 3 games there. So once we get somewhere, we're in the town. So, I mean, there's wear and tear without a doubt, but a lot of times we get a chance to kind of get acclimated to the area and then play a couple of games in those cities. This past trip, the 2 games in Toledo and Cincinnati, more about in and out, but again, you guys just got to get used to it, and there's no excuses, and we've been playing very well on the road, so. As you said, we only have 10 left at home, so we gotta make hay on the road.
Injury-wise, how are you right now?
We're actually pretty good. We got 2 guys out for the season, one with a shoulder and one with a knee injury that they will not be back. We sustained another injury. Roman Amaretto hurt his shoulder the other night, but I think that's like a 10 to 14 day thing. But overall, we're pretty healthy, and right now is probably a good time to be that way.
Mentioned, Adam, that you're from Winnipeg, Manitoba. People around here just freak out when they have a half inch of snow or the temperature drops below freezing. Talk about the weather right now in Winnipeg, Manitoba.
Well, I do have to correct you. I'm from Beausejour, Manitoba, but I use Winnipeg as a reference because it's a town of 3,000 people that not a lot of people have heard. Yeah, actually, they did have to cancel school a couple days last week. I think it was minus 53 with the wind chill or so. That's Celsius, so I don't know Fahrenheit. That's probably maybe even more. I think maybe minus 60 with the wind chill. So I have some nieces and nephews at home who got to stay home from school.
Talk about the competition in the ECHL, and how would you compare that to give fans an idea of what the quality of hockey is in this league?
You know, I know I'm getting older, but I feel like every year the competition gets a little bit better. There's fewer and fewer teams than there were, say, when I started my career. And, you know, it's less watered down, the talent. So the league even below us is starting to get better quality hockey. So the ECHL, there's fewer teams in our league and the league above us. So, you know, it's as good as it's ever been.
Rob, do you think you have their team in place now? Do you see anybody pulling players up during the last few weeks of the season here?
Well, we've been kind of shuffling guys back and forth from San Antonio and San Diego the last couple of weeks. We actually got a guy down on Saturday that hopefully will be with us for a little while. First game that he played for us was Alex Dosty, and he's a nice little player. I think he could really add to our team. We still have Steven Perfetto that's up in San Antonio right now. He's actually injured there, but I think we'll see him back, and he's a top quality player at our level for sure. So I think we can only get better. I mean, outside of unforeseen injuries at the higher level with San Antonio and San Diego, if we remain the way we are right now, you know, I think I like the way we look. Trade deadline's coming up within 3 weeks here. You never know. There might be something out there that might make us better that I can upgrade on. We'll see when that comes to fruition or not.
You got 5 games here, just pretty quick. What's important in those 5 games that you accomplished?
Well, I think our consistency is probably the biggest thing that we've had all year. You know, we're 9 games above 500 right now. There really hasn't been many games outside of, I would say, Cincinnati on Saturday night. We were not in that game. And I tell you what, that's as good as hockey team that I've seen at this level. It remind me a lot of the team I had in Alaska when we won the Kelly Cup. You know, it was men with boys out there, and you know, it was one of those things that they were that good that night, and we didn't compete. But other than that, there's very few, if any, other games I would say this season that we haven't been in every game and competed hard. And, you know, whether we won or lost the game, and I think as long as we can maintain that consistency and keep going forward with that, you know, I think we'll be fine.
That loss at Cincinnati February 2nd, in fairness, Coach, 7 games in 9 days. Had to take a toll, too.
Well, yeah, and I saw it more. We played 5 games in 6 nights. The game on Wednesday night against Utah. And it kind of dawned on me within the game itself that, you know, I was wondering why we were not sharp, why we weren't playing as well as I thought we could. And it just dawned on me as the 5th game in 6 nights. I mean, you know, the guys were just giving it everything they had. They just had nothing left.
Adam, you have that, we tape on Monday now. You guys take a bus trip to Kansas City on Tuesday, the 5th here to play Kansas City. Then how far are you looking to a week off? Not another game until February 12th at Wichita.
Yeah, I mean, we've been on the road a lot as well, but a little time off will pay dividends mentally and emotionally, really. You know, he's saying that we didn't have much left in those games, but I think it was like mentally, you know, you have a tough game on a Friday night, but the next night you have to do it again, and the next night you have to do it again. So I think a week off mentally would be good for everyone on the team.
Mentioned 10 more home games. That's all that's left in the regular season here for the Oilers. And the 3 of them are coming up in the middle of the month. On February 15th, they'll be hosting Wichita at 7:05. February 16th, Worcester at 7:05. Then February 17th, it's 4:05. They'll drop the puck for Worcester again back-to-back. Coach, the Oiler fans are a really loyal group. How important have they been to this team? You had some great crowds this year.
We have a fantastic fan base, and I think that I think the town reflects that. I think Tulsa itself, the year and 3 quarters that I've lived here now, it's growing all around us, and I think that the fan base, the people that are here, we were talking prior to coming on the air. You know, it'd be nice to kind of reach out to people that haven't been to games and to come out and experience how much fun they are. And I'm sure they would come back after experience that one night and be back the next night. So, I think that our fan base is what it is. We're always looking for more people. So come on out to the Oilers games.
Adam, this facility playing the BOK, how's that match up with facilities across the ECHL you play in?
Oh, I think it's by far, in the top 3, if not the best facility in the league. It might be the biggest one in the league, but, I think a lot of teams look forward to coming to Tulsa to play in that arena.
Coach, do you have any promotions that are coming up with those 3 home games that we might be able to help you with?
John Peterson?
I'm not. That's off my pay scale there. I don't. I'm not sure. I'm sure we do. It's every night we seem to have something. I guarantee you there's probably a jersey auction one of the nights because we do that almost every second game. But,
John Peterson, come on over here, John. Walk in the shot here. Very casual here. John's a great play-by-play guy. Also handles all their media and stuff. Got to lean in, John. Tell us about what we have coming up for the fans. Game is February 15th, 16th, and 17th. Be okay.
We have a Pink in the Rink weekend, which is always a great event where we honor those that have been affected by cancer. A lot of teams focus on breast cancer specifically with that color pink, but I think we've made it more of an all-inclusive weekend, and it's really special to a lot of people, and that's coming up that weekend. So there's a lot of fun to be had. Coach mentioned the jersey auction. That'll be that weekend as well. So with only 3 games in the month of February, it's a perfect time to come out and see these guys. They're not around a whole lot in February and March. So 3 games in 3 nights. We'll have some new competition too, as Worcester's never made it this far out west. So that'll be a lot of fun having a new opponent in town.
And where can the fans catch you on the radio with the play-by-play?
We broadcast on the Sports Animal Radio Network. That is on 97.1 FM or 99.9 FM, depending on the nights. We always go on the air 20 minutes before the game time. So for 7:05 games, we'll go on the air at 6:45.
Something for the player and the coach here?
You bet. We want you guys on us to go to Jimmy's Egg.
Oh, excellent. Thank you very much.
And you can add those to your...
Yeah, I know. I had to take him up on them.
Give one to John. Do you have extra?
Yeah, no. It's mine.
Let me tell you what's look forward to at Jimmy's Egg. First they do omelets, 40,000 ways. You imagine that? 40,000 ways to have omelets, you guys there. Only at Jimmy's Eggs. You get $25 off from catering, $100 or more. A great thing for catering to bring for the Oiler fans sometime. Again, their hours are 6 a.m. to 2 p.m. We have 3 locations here in Tulsa, 17 in the Oklahoma City area. Jimmy's Egg. You want a burger at 6 a.m., you can get it. You want an omelet at 2 p.m., you can get that as well. Jimmy's Egg, our sponsor of Oklahoma Sportscene. Oilers, congratulations, a heck of a season.
Thank you.
We're going to make the playoffs, aren't we?
Yes, sir.
We're on our way.
All right, guys. Adam, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Right back in a moment.
1, 2, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, rock. 5, 6, 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, rock. 9, 10, 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock, rock. We're gonna rock around the clock tonight.
Remington Park is now officially open around the clock. That's right, we are 24/7.
We're gonna rock around the clock tonight. We're gonna rock till broad daylight. Gonna rock around the clock tonight.
So when we say the party never ends, you better believe it. Remington Park, now open 24/7.
Each week we talk about the GTR, and we know for a fact that Forrest Cameron and his wife Sharon put out a tremendous paper. Well, I brought all 6 of them today. I'd like for you to see them. The Union Boundary, and here is the Owasso Rambler. And if you live in Bixby, how about the Bixby Breeze or Broken Arrow, the Broken Arrow Express, Jinx, District Gazette, and then of course the Tulsa Midtown. All of those, the GTR. If you haven't had an opportunity to read one, do it, and you'll be proud of it.
Welcome back to Oklahoma Sports Scene, brought to you by Jimmy's Egg, and we got our special guest who has some really special memorabilia, Henry Primeaux. Henry, how are you doing?
I'm doing okay. Now I am. I'm much better.
Before memorabilia,
I've been in rehab.
Henry's been in rehab. One of the great New Orleans Saints fans, he was there. Right in front of him was the phantom call that wasn't made that cost the Saints a trip to the Super Bowl. Henry, have you recovered yet or forgiven anybody?
I was the only one in my family and extended family that watched the game last night. And I had to square it with Jane, and she finally gave up on me. So I brought a couple of some stuff today that I thought would be interesting. Some of them are monumental games in my life.
Sure, let's see.
You know, in the old days, right? They used to give you a cushion to sit on at the Super Bowl when you went.
This is Super Bowl 27, right?
1993 in Pasadena. Right. Now, my buddy Fritz is a car dealer in California, and I went out there to go to the game with him, and he had a motorhome, and he had his artist paint an NBC logo, and we put it in the front. And we walked in waving to everybody. Everybody's waving at us, and they put us right in the front. Well, we had a guy by the name of Jerry Haliva. He played Saddam Hussein in these, what was it, the part do with Charlie Sheen?
Oh, yeah.
He was Saddam Hussein.
Oh, my gosh.
So we had this great big highway patrol leading us up to the game, and everybody, all these important people get out, and we go into this deal. And we were there all day, and nobody ever said it. So they gave us this to sit on, and then one of the sponsors, of course, this was GTE back then, and they had things like a radio.
Oh,
this is a radio that you have a little earplug. They gave us Pro-Line sport cards, and they were just Super Bowl cards. Only way you could get them is to be there.
Wow.
I've never opened this. I'd be afraid. Maybe it's worth $1 million, but I don't know. And they got all kind of other stuff, free stuff and all of that. And I guess they stopped it because I went to a couple of them that had different things. But, you know, one of the things is this hat and this program go together. This is when the Ravens played the 49ers in the Super Bowl in New Orleans. This was Colin Kaepernick's demise.
Wow,
and we were sitting right in the section where the lights went out. I don't know if you remember that.
Right.
The lights went out during the game. And for that momentous occasion, I did buy me a New Orleans Super Bowl hat, and I wear it when I go around.
I like it.
Now, here's one.
Yeah.
Here's one from San Francisco. And this is when the Denver Broncos played the California Panthers.
Carolina Panthers.
Carolina Panthers.
Yeah.
And so that, you know, that's another one you can, I like to look at them. This was Pepsi on the back of this one.
Yeah.
And this was GMC on the back. And you'd be surprised how the big contributors and the big sponsors, they just kind of go away. And some of them are
2016.
Really strong.
Wow.
2016. And this one was Zoom 13.
Okay.
Then, you guys have seen these before. This is Mean Joe Green's Super Bowl ring.
No way.
Look at it.
Wow.
And this is Terry Bradshaw's three-time Super Bowl ring.
Mean Joe Green who threw the jersey at the kid in the Coke ad, the famous Coke ad.
Yeah, you in that, bro? Oh, you the kid?
Yeah, I wish I had been. Look at that, Coach. See this? Wow.
And of course, this is the closest I've ever.
Hold the camera there, Coach.
Wait, now here's the closest I've ever been to a Super Bowl.
Let's see.
This is the Talons ring.
That's
it was almost as interesting
Arena
as the
football
Super Bowl.
Talons.
Exactly
That's
right.
I love that. Yeah.
And this, I did not go to this game, but this was Pittsburgh and Green Bay, and I went to a pre-party, and they had all these little statues, and I'd never seen them before.
Yeah, neat.
So I stole these two, and I've been having them ever since.
Wait, Henry, what could the NFL have done better, different, or something to get your Saints where they should have been in the Super Bowl?
The first thing they could have done was make them look at it, because most people don't understand that interference is not reviewable.
Yeah, right.
But it was a head-to-head hit,
Exactly.
and that was reviewable.
Yeah.
Now, Goodell was in the stands in Kansas City, so he saw it. He had to know about it. He should have said something right there. You know, folks, it's already over. I'm sorry I didn't see it.
Yeah.
Maybe I could have did something. It would cost us too much money. Well, I don't believe that, but that'd have been close enough.
Mm-hmm.
But in the Kansas City game, if you remember when they had fourth down, they charged Kansas City with hitting Brady after the play, and they never touched him. He went right down his face.
Right, never touched him. You're
and
right.
then when Breeze threw the final pass that was intercepted, they had his face mask. They didn't call that either. So, you know, I think by Goodell's arrogance and by his inability to care for the regular people, like the fans, who are they supposed to be? You know, but I'll tell you what, the people in New Orleans will never forget. And every time somebody got a little, well, you guys are bad losers, they must have had 1,000 reports. Bam, bam. Come down to New Orleans and tell somebody that. So I think they had like 150,000 people in the streets yesterday, all different parts of town. So that was pretty good.
They call it the bogus bowl or the...
it's
bogus bowl.
But it's over, and next year we'll be, I'm going to give my ticket. No, you're not.
No.
You're coming next year.
Heck yes.
And we look great on paper, and we're undefeated the first game. So I'll be there.
How many Super Bowls have you attended in person then, Henry?
I've been to 12.
12 of them?
Yeah.
Wow, that's incredible.
Matter of fact, I went to Lee Mayberry gave me his tickets to the NBA All-Star game, and I took my son-in-law with me, and we got something like this in a little bag with all the goodies, and we sat with the players and the player's wife that wasn't playing, you know.
Yeah,
so we were
go.
big shots.
He's our sports memorabilia king, and we have something for Henry Primeaux too to celebrate at least.
Make sure you go to Jimmy's Egg.
Oh, I was at Jimmy's Egg early in the week.
All right.
We were there
With
together.
Uncle Chris. Yes,
had
we
a
were.
nice breakfast there.
Yeah.
Henry, as always, great to have you with us.
Thank you, guys.
Good to have you.
Great to be here.
See you next month here with us. And we'll be right back with our Oklahoma Prep Player and Coach of the Month with Barry Lewis of the Tulsa World. Stay with us on Oklahoma Sportscene.
Welcome to Jimmy's Egg. Come on in.
For more than 30 years, Jimmy's Egg has been starting people's day off right with hot, fresh, made-to-order food. Our eggs are fresh, cracked to order every time, and there are over 40,000 ways to craft your own omelet. With signature favorites like our meat lover skillet or decadent cinnamon roll pancakes, it won't leave hungry. Breakfast and lunch is available every day from 6 a.m. to 2 p.m., so stop in today and let our friendly staff serve you.
Stop by and see us sometime.
Robertson Tire has been your local tire expert since 1962. Now at RobertsonTire.com, it's easier than ever to get a customized quote. And with our price match guarantee, you can be sure that you're getting the best price. For more information, visit RobertsonTire.com.
That time of the month, we have our Oklahoma Prep Coach and Player of the Month of Oklahoma. And Barry Lewis, the Tulsa World, their great prep columnist, joins us for that. Let's have the announcement. Let's start with our Coach of the Month, Barry.
Our Coach of the Month is Broken Arrow Wrestling coach Sean Jones. He's got the Tigers rolling. They're ranked number 1 in 6A going into dual state this week. And he's won a combined 7 state titles since becoming Broken Arrow's wrestling coach in 2006. And he's looking to add a couple more this month. And it looks like there's a real good chance that he could do that. Broken Arrow, it's sort of an interesting case this season because they didn't really get a bunch of their they're all good wrestlers in Broken Arrow, but some of their real standouts they didn't get until after the season had started because they were busy helping the Tigers win the state football championship. Right. But they are really rolling now. And Sean Jones, who's also the winningest dual coach in Broken Arrow history, passing up current Union Assistant Athletic Director Steve Dunlap. Sean Jones is our Coach of the Month.
Produced 23 individual state champions and the son of a very famed name in wrestling, Ernie Jones, who, Gil, of course, a member of our Tulsa Public Schools Athletics Hall of Fame.
Ernie Jones, of course, coaching at Cassia Hall now.
That's right.
After he retired from Tulsa Public Schools, being at Webster and Washington, and had great teams there. And, of course, he's carried over to his son now.
Now it's time to introduce the Player of the Month. And for that, let's go back to Barry here.
Our Athlete of the Month is Sand Springs basketball player Holly Kurzgeter. She is having a terrific season. So is Sand Springs. Sand Springs 15-4. Holly's averaging about 20 points and 10 rebounds a game. She signed with the University of Kansas, so she's going to be going on to great things, and she's doing great things this year. And last week, she was really, really good as she scored 44 points in 2 big victories that Sand Springs had over Booker T. Washington and Broken Arrow. So Charles Page High Schools of Sand Springs, Holly Kurzgeter is our Athlete of the Month.
So else to talk about on the prep side, Gil, they just had, of course, on February the 2nd, the BOK Center hosted their BOK Showcase. It's been a real great event for the kids.
Really went well. We are excited about being able to go 3 consecutive years now after we had 2 years off and everything. But I know it's a great experience for our student athletes. It's a great experience for our coaches and our fans to go into an NBA style arena and play. And of course, the games were, I think, really exciting this year. We had some really good games, and it's really interesting. It seemed like on the first 3 or 4 that one team would get way ahead in the first quarter and a half, and then they had to fight through to get all the way to the end to win. So it was and I think with the home team won 7 out of 8. I think was the deal. So it was a great experience, and I know Barry was there and saw every moment of it.
Yeah, Barry and Mike Brown both covered for the Tulsa. What were some of the highlights in your mind, Barry, the teams that really stood out to you or individuals?
Well, no surprise that Memorial's Caleb Boone really stood out with a triple-double. 19 points, 12 rebounds, just his typical game, but 10 blocked shots. He is quite a standout, and his brother Keelan also had a really great game. So Memorial definitely looks like the team to beat in 5A. They really stood out, and as you said, there was a lot of really interesting moments. What was really neat about the event was that it was a chance for both Memorial and 5A and Booker T. Washington 6A. There was a lot on the line since it was the last day before the playoff seedings were determined, that they virtually clinched the East top seed in 5A for Memorial and Booker T. Washington 6A. So there was a lot on the line, and both those teams came through.
You know, they really did, and you talk about that second night lag physically. Booker T. had that big game on Friday night with Sapulpa, and to play Sapulpa Sand Springs back to back. I mean, it drained them. There was no question, like you said. I think their legs just weren't there.
And Sand Springs is a really good team. The Tulsa area, this is probably as strong in 6A as far as the East has been in quite a while, as far as the depth of teams in the East, because you've got in the top 10, you've got Booker T, Sapulpa, Sand Springs, Union, Jenks, and Owasso, which played in the showcase, and they showed they're really good. They're really coming on strong. So there's a lot of really good depth in 6A in the Tulsa area, boys.
One of the high school things I want to mention, too, coming up on February 8th is the very first Ring of Honor ceremony at Booker T. Washington High School. Coach, I can't imagine a tougher assignment than picking a first class of the Hall of Famers at Booker T. Washington High.
Well, it was a challenge. Perhaps maybe the only thing more challenging was to pick the first class of Tulsa Public Schools Hall of Famers about 7 years ago.
Wow.
And you've got a few people on this list who are also in the Tulsa Public Schools Hall of Fame, and probably a few others on this list who will probably soon be in the Tulsa Public Schools Hall of Fame. It is really quite a list celebrating a century of just greatness at Booker T. Washington, both in athletics and in the classroom. So it's going to be quite a night Friday. And it's going to be great basketball, too, because it's going to be in between the girls and boys basketball games between Booker T. Washington and Union. So it's going to be a tremendous basketball doubleheader. And then on top of that, you've got in between games the Ring of Honor ceremony. So it's going to be quite a night at Nathan E. Harris Fieldhouse.
Well, I tell you, the thing that at least it was a little bit easier for them. We just get to pick one from each school.
Yeah.
So they got to pick all theirs from their school. But and what we try to tell them, Barry, you know this, is if you're not in the first one, it doesn't mean that you're not good enough to be in the first one. It just means we can only put so many in at a time. And I think that's one of the things that this does, that when our individual schools can recognize those individuals. I think that's really good because that just system, McLean started one about 4 or 5 years ago. They had their own Hall of Fame. Philip Johnson and everything, and they invite them back, and they have a banquet sit-down deal. I think it's really, really important to live that legacy that they gave you.
And they have so much tradition at Booker T. Washington. I've been inside the field house and seen the banners, and to see them hanging up there, they've really done a great job with the banners, and it's just going to be a really awesome sight.
All right, February 8th, I'm looking forward to hosting that event there, the Ring of Honor. We'll have more on that for you on Oklahoma Sports Scene. We have our parting shots coming up, but first we have something for Barry Lewis here.
Barry, we're going to make a change this time. You're always here with Jimmy's Egg. Tonight, Bricktown Brewery.
All right. Great. Thank you very much.
You bet.
Lunch and dinner there, but of course I got to talk to you about Jimmy's Egg for breakfast again. Open from 6 a.m. to 2 p.m. Of course, everything on the menu is available. We have locations, 3 of them here in the Tulsa area. We have several locations, 17 in the Oklahoma City metro area. And Jimmy's Egg is famous, of course, for their fresh service, 40,000 ways to make omelets there. They have a 55-plus menu we appreciate. Be sure to get their app. You download that app, right away you get a free short stack of pancakes. Jimmy's Egg, taking care of your breakfast or lunch. And of course, Bricktown Brewery is going to take care of Barry's lunch this next time. We'll see you with our parting shots right after this.
The 2019 NCAA Men's Basketball First and Second Rounds. March 22nd and 24th at BOK Center in Tulsa. Visit ncaa.com/MBB tickets and get your seats today.
Coming to the end, we always wrap up our Oklahoma Sports Scene shows. This one presented by Jimmy's Egg here in our studios in Tulsa with our parting shots. Coach O'Cloud is going to take a swing at the NCAA.
I got to tell you, the NCAA missed it this time. They miss it quite often, but on this one, the Kansas probation and the Kansas student athlete who was ruled ineligible the rest of this season and all of next season. It seems that his guardian took two payments, one of $2,500 and the other one of $20,000, in order to make him think about going to the University of Kansas. The tack from the NCAA, which really enlightened me, was they said, you know, anytime a third party is involved, the student athlete can't plead ignorance. The student athlete has to know what's going on around him. Well, I can tell you this, the years that I spent as a college coach, we always found out who was going to make the decision, and that's who we recruited. Whether it was the mother, the father, the grandmother, the guardian, the aunt, the uncle, or the student athlete. Somebody was a decision maker in that group. We didn't ask the student athlete if they knew that their grandmother wanted them to go to KU. The NCAA said the student athlete has to pay that penalty of ineligibility all of this year, ineligibility all of next year, because his guardian took $22,500. That is not in the best welfare of that student athlete, and I wouldn't be surprised if he leaves the University of Kansas.
You know, the big winner was of Super Bowl 53 in Atlanta, Georgia at Mercedes-Benz Stadium? The fans. The fans were in the stadium. You won't believe this, but they actually, thanks to Arthur Blank, the owner of the Atlanta Falcons, who has a few dollars. He also was the founder and co-owner of Home Depot. He decided, look, we've taken advantage of the fans too many times. I'm going to cut our concessions. He cut their concession prices by 50%. Arthur called it fan first menu pricing. Now listen to these prices. This at the Super Bowl, Mercedes-Benz Stadium on Sunday, $2 for a refillable soda cup, $2 for water. It was $2 for hot dogs, popcorn, and pretzels, $3 for nachos with cheese. They also had $5 for a beer or a cheeseburger, and they had their big chicken tender and fries basket, went for $6. And guess what? Even with that 50% pay cut, they started this back in 2017 season when Mercedes-Benz Stadium opened. They actually made a 16% more profit because of volume. In contrast, this past season, the average NFL stadium beer price was over $8. Some ones, like the Oakland Raiders, charge you $20 for a cup of beer, $6 for a hot dog. Well, the good news is that over 15 professional colleges and NFL and NBA and Major League Baseball teams are now following suit with a 50% concession price. By the way, the only big loser at the Mercedes-Benz Stadium on Sunday as far as concessions, Chick-fil-A, Atlanta-based company. They have all kinds of Chick-fil-A restaurants there in the Mercedes-Benz Stadium. Not a single one of them was open because, of course, it was Sunday. By the Chick-fil-A policy, it goes back to 1946. They say they always have Sunday closed, set aside one day to rest and worship if they choose. Super Bowl 53 didn't change that. Amen. Good for them. How about that, Coach? Give the fans a break for a change, right?
That's good for Chick-fil-A, too.
Yeah, no, not too bad. Give them a day off. That's right. So Nathan Thompson will be sitting in for Gil and JB and the rest of us with my co-host. So join us next time on Oklahoma Sports Scene. Again, thanks for joining us. See you next time.